Welcome back to the Real Talk podcast, y'all. Let's get into it. How y'all doing today? And how are you doing? We have Miss Sierra here with us, Miss Sierra Andrews.
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. I appreciate you for coming back.
Of course, anytime.
That's what's up. Appreciate you. What I'm going to ask you to do before we even get into it, this is just a shameless plug. Feel free to tell us about your Luxuriant Beauty Cosmetics business.
Okay, well, my name is Sierra Andrews, as Z just told you. I do have a business called Luxuriant Beauty Cosmetics. We sell lip gloss, butter gloss. We do have a new lip gloss launching between August 24th to September 1st, and that will be called Glaze. But we do sell different type of lip glosses. It keeps your lips moisturized. It adds that moisturizing agents to your lips, but also keep your lips shiny. So get into that. Go over to the website. You can follow me on Instagram at Luxuriant Beauty Cosmetics, and in the link there will be the link for the website, so you can go and check our page out, get your luxury lips on, and then we also have just other products coming, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, that's pretty much what I do. Like that's my business.
That's awesome. Were you always into cosmetics and the beauty industry?
Yes, I actually went to school, cosmetology school, for hair. I did hair. I still do hair. I'm still in the field. When I want to be. But I kind of ventured over to makeup. So I used to do hair a lot, and then it kind of died down, but I still to this day have clientele, my loyal clients. But then eventually, like I said, I ventured off into makeup. I started having a love for makeup, lip gloss. Even as a child, I used to go to sleep in lip gloss, literally, before I went to bed, or sometimes even a full face of makeup, which is weird. I know that wasn't good for my skin back then, but so I always had a thing or a love for it. It's just as I got older and as I got more in the beauty industry, when I got into the hair, I don't know, it was just another thing to enhance your beauty, the natural beauty that you already have. So I pretty much was in it already, and then I just was like, I just want something that just helped me express how my love for the beauty industry and how much I love lip gloss and how much I want to cater to the ladies. So yeah.
That's awesome. That's what's up. Y'all, me personally, if y'all know me, I'm, like I said before in a different podcast episode, I'm not a huge makeup person. I'll wear it every now and then, but the lip gloss is definitely popping, keeps your lips moisturized. I enjoy wearing the Icy Girl one. It's clear, by the way. But all of them are great. They're all beautiful, especially the last few you came out with. I saw.
Yes,
the pigment is really
Pearl.
good.
Oh, love them.
Yeah.
Especially people sleep on Plush, but it's too good.
Definitely y'all go to luxuriantbeautycosmetics.com and go ahead and get you some. The link is going to be right here and below of this actual episode. So, of course. But question, do you have Twitter?
No, I do not.
You don't have Twitter? Okay, for one, Twitter's ratchet AF, right?
That's why I don't want it.
But I think it's a great outlet.
TikTok is enough for me.
Yeah, TikTok has gotten wild.
It's not as ratchet, but it gets crazy.
Yeah, no. Twitter is a whole nother level. Twitter's remember when we were younger, we had HBO at night? That's what that is. Geez. But just on every level of ratchetness, hoodness, even HBO actualness. So
yeah,
but no, okay. Well, I have a Twitter. I barely use it. I only have 10 followers. I really don't use it. My old one got deleted because it wasn't active for too long.
Okay.
I had paused it, and then I never went back to it. Yeah. I'm not a huge Twitter user, but every now and then I'll click on it just to click on it. And one day I clicked on it and I saw a post that said, "You cute, but can you pray?"
Okay. Yeah.
I was like, I said that's
about that.
Yeah. I was like, that's different. That's a good point.
Yeah, it is.
The comments were wild, but to me, somebody was like, "Who cares?" I said, "You know what?
See, this is your problem. That's your problem, right there. Who cares?
Yeah,
somebody care, just not you."
Right. What are your thoughts on that specific tweet?
Ooh, I don't know. I just feel like, even in talking stages or you dating, because this ties into dating, or even you can even say a friendship with certain people who have a certain mindset or have a faith or believe in, God, because I believe in God. I know everybody don't believe in God, but for what I believe in, my standpoint, I feel like it's very important to have that faith. It's very important to pray, because if you're not praying, then what are you doing? Like, I feel like if you have faith and you believe in God, like if you don't have a prayer life, at some point it's gonna get you to a point where you're all over the place. You like mentally, you feel like everything's going wrong, and that's the only thing that really centers you. You know what I'm saying? And not only that, if you're in a relationship or friendships, if stuff is going on in their life and they don't even know how to pray, or it's something you can introduce them to, but maybe that can be the thing that helped them find their peace and center themselves and help them overcome certain things. So it's kind of like, if I'm in a relationship with you and I know you're going through something, and you tell me, okay, this is what I'm going through, this is what I'm facing, and I see it, now I know what to pray for. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people just be in relationships and they don't have the God in the center, and we know, okay, sometimes we don't like to relinquish control to God, but at the same time, if you're praying within your relationship and having that faith base and just praying every day, or everybody should be praying every day, but everybody don't pray every day. But at the same time, if you're praying, even with your significant other, I feel like it brings you closer, not only to God, but to each other. Yeah. So, and I feel like your relationships last longer when you have those healthy relationships, that faith, healthy relationship with your friends, with your, even with your family. So I just think that's really important. It's not all about looks. Like, okay, you cute, like you said, but what else can you do? Like, even in your mindset, you don't even have to be necessarily praying. It can just be your mindset. You can have a negative mindset. Like, you can be a negative Nancy. You know what I'm saying? Like, just because you cute don't mean you're going to get away with this, that, and the third. Yeah. It's where your mindset is. That's what's going to take you. So I'm sorry. I was rambling.
No, you're good. I was actually going to ask you, are you a believer? And, do you pray?
Yes, I'm a believer. My roller coaster with God, I'm not gonna lie, I have I call it a roller coaster, and I know no relationship is perfect when it comes to God, and we can only strive to be our best in our relationship with God. But I'm definitely a believer. I was raised in the church. My grandma, I'm not gonna call her my step grandma, but she's a pastor, and I just was raised in the church. My mom is a faith-based woman. She's a believer, and it's just always been embedded into me and my family. So I definitely pray, even in those hardest times where I feel like I couldn't see God. Like, that mustard seed of faith was the only thing that kept me going, honestly, and what brought me through. So even when I didn't feel like praying, or even if I was going through something at that time, like, I had to find the strength within me to be like, Jesus. Even if I could only say Jesus, like, I had to find the strength within me to even open my mouth to say something. And sometimes your tears are enough. Like, you don't even have to say anything. Your tears will be enough for God to see, okay, my daughter, my son is hurting. Let me go ahead and lift the weight off a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Because even when you can't utter the words, your heart is saying something different. So yeah, I pray. And like I said, you have your moments where you're up and down. You're like, dang, I don't feel like praying. I've been praying about the same thing for years. Or you're expecting something and it don't happen. You lose your faith, you lose your sight, or you just go through life and then you don't want to pray anymore. But those are the moments where you should draw closer to God. So yeah, I do pray.
That's good. No, that's good. I personally didn't really start like praying until I was in like college. I identified when I was younger. I identified as a Christian solely because my grandmother took us to church when we were younger. But my family, when we moved to Florida, we didn't go to church every Sunday. We didn't, but we still had that root of believing in God. And over time, I think we just became more spiritual versus a Christian, because I think that's two different things personally, in the sense of character, values, and all that stuff, and just how you see the world. I think it's just two separate things. But the foundation is still technically the same, if that makes sense. But like I said, I didn't really start praying until I got in college, and I saw how things started to change in my life. Now, I did fall off again, even after college. And then I started really working on myself, self-development, all that stuff, reading books, listening to audio tapes, and understanding that everything that's in these audios and in these books really derived from the Bible itself. And so I was just like, wow, it's crazy how I tried to run from God, but yet he found me, or he chased me, And so I was like, okay, let's do this. Let's build this relationship. Let's, as many people. There was plenty of times in my life that people would ask me, "Oh, well, how can you have a relationship with God?" Or, "How can you be on the praise and worship team?" If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about.
Right.
But I'm like, my personal life has nothing to do with my relationship with God. At the end of the day, in the sense of He forgives us all. We all sin. Some just sin longer than others, and it's just. And to me, to others it's a sin. To me, it's just a part of who I am. Right. So. I can't help how you feel or how you think, but at the end of the day, I know where my relationship with God stands. Right. And that if He had such a problem with it, I don't think I would have made it this far in life. Right. As such. But that post alone made me think about also like, when they said, you're cute, but do you pray? It's like, okay, what do you value? Mm-hmm. Like as an individual, what values do you take on and then pass on to your kids and then bring into the relationship? Because you can be in a relationship and your values are completely different, right? And that's detrimental. Exactly. That's like if somebody was really people who have a real issue with political parties in their relationship, let's say a Democratic and a Republican got together and it was an issue, their values technically aren't the same because y'all stand for two different things. Yeah. So some can get past it, but then when you really get down to the root of it, if you believe in this just like for the real deep reasons as to who the Republicans stand for or who the Democratic Party stands for, that's what you believe. That's who you are. That's not just I was around people who were Republicans or Democratic, But I think values have been something that I think people forget to look for in relationships. Mm-hmm. They just look at beauty and they just look at, did she get a BBL or something? All the wrong things. All the wrong things. And sometimes not even just look, they go for the beginning bliss. Mm-hmm. And then it's like after that, we don't have much in common. Well, you should have figured that out in the beginning. Yeah. So it's also that goes to stem from them not knowing what they want either too. This is true. But I don't know. I mean, do you feel like that has ever been an issue in your past relationships of them not having the same values? Oh yeah, like I think most of my relationships, honestly, like, which is crazy. I feel like most of my relationships that I got in, like, we were totally opposites. So we in some ways, and I say that because a lot of them said they had faith, but it didn't show. You know what I'm saying? It didn't, in their everyday life, it didn't show. Like, I felt like I'm bringing myself and my faith into this relationship and it's diminishing because, like, I'm trying so hard to not even force faith or belief or God on you. It's just, I know who I am and I can't dim that light. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to feel like, it sometimes felt like I was too spiritual or too churchy or however they want to, perceive it as. But it wasn't that. It was just, that's me. That's who I am. And that's how God created me. And I'm not going to not talk about him, even if in my sin, and even if I'm not perfect, and even if I have a certain lifestyle to other people. At the end of the day, like, I know my thorns and I know but I also know who I am, and I also know that God is still doing a work in me at the end of the day, and he's doing a work in everybody. Nobody's perfect, and I never judge people. Even in my relationships, I never judge the people. I just always just wanted them to see what God done for me, and for God to reveal himself to them like he did to me at one point in my life. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it was never that's what the clash was. It's like they just didn't believe enough, you know what I'm saying? And then it kind of turmoiled the relationship to where it just became bigger issues. And I feel like for most of my relationships, that's what it is. That's what it was. And me trying to hold on to those relationships longer than it needed to be, it just made it worse, and since some things were just red flags, just like, girl, no, you see that, like, you doing too much, like, go run, like, some of it didn't have nothing to do with faith. You just knew this person was a demon. Like, I'm sorry, dang, but out here walking some people was demons. Just so, and I say demon, they just were so like toxic, and they knew, but it was just like, it was their life. It was normal to them. Yeah. So it was like, okay, yeah, you deep in and you need to come out, and I can't pull you out, and I'm not God. So, and I'm not trying to be God. And I used to try to hold the weight and just be that for people sometimes, not God, but just be that for people. And I had to stop that, and I had to let that stuff go. So yeah, it is definitely difficult in relationships when you're not
of course, evenly yoked or on the same page when it comes to values, when it comes to belief, or just certain things in life. Because at the end of the day, I feel like when you're in a relationship, when you're in a committed relationship, or you're courting someone, or you have these expectations in your relationship, for the most part, when it comes to those things like values, your morals, like your goals and stuff like that, even if it's not the same, it should be on one accord to a certain extent, especially if you see yourself marrying this person. Because I don't date just to date. I date with a purpose. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
It's the cutoff.
Much.
Yeah. No, that I mean, that makes sense. I hope that people nowadays would date with the intention of being married, because like you said, at the end of the day, you're just wasting your time.
Right.
So what we really doing?
Right.
But I think referring back to something you said, the fact that these people were so toxic and so very different from you, or they would state that they have faith and all that stuff. I think people forget that you don't have to be a heavy, deep Christian or go to church every Wednesday and Sunday to be a believer or to even have faith. I think you have to have the intention of having some type of relationship with God or whoever you believe in. And if you hold on to that, that could be enough for you. And I think some people may, or they probably felt threatened by how big your relationship with God was, and how important it was to you.
But I feel like I never made it that, it was just my spirit intimidated them.
But it's very, okay, I get that. But as much as you, from me knowing you, it's very, very clear that is majority of the time number one priority, which is okay. Right. Like I would never tell somebody to change that. Right. Because you don't have to answer to me. You know what I mean? And even at the end of the day, I'm not your God. So I would never tell you to, I kind of lost my train of thought, but it's okay. But what I'm saying is, the time that I've known you, your faith has been priority, but it also has been very present. Whether that is, how do I say this? Like, you don't even have to say it for it to be noticeable. Right. But it's something you can tell in the way you speak and in the way you move, that it's a priority to you. So I think that, I'm not saying that's who you were back then, because I don't know. Right. But if that is who you were, then it was very clear, and I can see why they would be intimidated if that's not who they were, or if they didn't know their relationship with God. Well,
this is a thing. Like, I'm gonna be honest. Anybody I dated, I didn't pursue them. You pursue me. If you know me, if you see me and you know what I'm about, you know I'm a woman of faith, regardless of who I am, what you think I am, and what you think I do. Right. At the end of the day, I love God. I'm striving for better. You know what I'm saying? And people will fake. This goes deep. Like, people will fake to be somebody just to get with somebody, just to open the door. Yeah. And when you open the door, and it's totally different for what you expected. Even if you know you got a good girl, or you know you got a good woman, and she this and she that, but it's still a certain standard that you have to hold. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like even sometimes I feel like I lowered myself.
I was just about to ask you that. Do you feel like that changed you sometimes?
Yeah, and it did. It drastically changed me. And sometimes I feel like I lowered myself because of that. And I never like to make anybody feel like they're not good enough, or they can't meet my.
But you allowed other people to do that to you.
Right. So that's what had to change. Like, you can't come up here, and that's why I'd be like, no, like, I'm so picky. Like, when it comes to people, and even like friendships and stuff like that, because I've been through it. I've been through all of it, and I'm not. It's like, now it's kind of like, it's not easy for me to just bend and fold when it comes to people. You know what I'm saying? Because I experienced all these things. So I felt like I never put them in a position, but this is who you this is who you pursued. This is who you wanted to court, right? So now it's kind of like, oh, this, that, and the third. And I still in myself. So I was never like, oh, so churchy. This wasn't not me. I'm just who I am. You as that person. I'm a cool girl. Like, I love having fun. I love turning up. I love, being myself, being my goofy self. And for people who really know me, they know I'm a goofball, and I like the vibe. So I never gave that, you know what I'm saying? If I felt like I wanted to sing in the shower and worship God, or just go pray, or be by myself, or listen to my worship music, I'm not saying that's those things are little or
but
big,
it's normal.
but it's normal. Like
Yeah.
anybody can listen to some church music, even if they don't have that much faith. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I never felt like I made them feel uncomfortable. Even if they felt intimidated by me, it's because that's the spirit I carry. You don't have what I carry.
Right.
And that's on you. That ain't got nothing to do with me. And as far as then you were saying something about, you know, they feel like they don't have to have that much faith, even if they have a little bit. I feel like you should always try, like you shouldn't want to remain the same in your faith.
For
at
sure.
the end of the day, like if you say you had not, it's different if you come and say, you know, I ain't no believer, and I choose to be with you, but don't lie and say you got faith just to be with me. You know what I'm saying? I feel like, me personally, you should have a strong foundation. Like, yeah, you don't have to go to church, but I was raised in the church. I believe in church, in the foundation, the right church. You know what I'm saying? But you don't have to go to church every single day. You can, you know, pull it up on YouTube or their channel and their website, and you can watch it over the Zoom or however you want to watch it, as long as you get your praise and worship in, you're praying to God, you're praying every day, you're searching for him every day. That's fine. But I do believe in the foundation of a church. That's me. That's my thing. But do I feel like I have to be there, especially now that I got older and I'm just seeing how the church works sometimes? But I don't believe that, and all churches are like that. Right. So, but I still believe in the foundation of having a church, having a pastor, having an overseer, having somebody who you go to as a mentor, because sometimes we can't, not saying they God, but sometimes they help lead you to certain, you know, just like if you had like a mentor in other aspects of your life. Right. So I do believe in that, but at the same time, if you didn't believe it, I wouldn't trip. You know what I'm saying? I don't go to church every day, but I do feel like there's certain levels of faith that you have to be with a person if they have a faith-based relationship with God. Like you can't, it just won't work. You know what I'm saying? Because you'll be over here like, okay, she on that again.
She over there praying again.
And you over here want to trap. And that's okay too. But I'm just saying, like,
it's also understanding the atmosphere of
exactly
when it's time to turn up and when it's time to get on your knees and pray.
Because guess what? You can't do anything for me. At the end of the day, I don't care if you're paying bills. I don't care if I'm not a materialistic person, so those things don't matter to me. Like, you doing your adult stuff, you wanna hand clap, you doing the stuff that you're supposed to do as an adult. Now when it comes to praying for me, like if I'm going through it, and because the enemy has attacked me in ways that only a few people could, like my brother, you know, or my mom, or certain people who has been close to me, who knows the spirit I carry, because I recognize the spirit they carry within them. They know me, and I don't even have to say it. They see it and they pray. You know what I'm saying? Because they have that spiritual discernment. So if you don't have that type of faith, that it gives you that spiritual discernment to know what to pray for. Or even if I'm telling you and you can't buy nothing, what can you do? I'm in a storm by myself. You're sitting right there. Yeah. What can you do? So if we're not here with it,
it's like what value can you add to me spiritually?
What are we doing? Yeah, we can get money. I can get money with anybody. We can build an empire with anybody, and it could just be business. It don't even have to be a relationship. But if I'm in a relationship, we need that. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, I feel like I will lose myself, and I won't be myself. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I was rambling again. Sorry.
No, it's okay. With the people that you've like been with, have you felt like once you've noticed that they didn't have that, once you realized they was like lying about that whole faith aspect to themselves, did you not?
I didn't. I know what you're saying. I didn't immediately leave. I was kind of like, okay, well, let me help them. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they didn't have that. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people I dealt with, they didn't have like real relationship with their mom. They had voids. You know what I'm saying? And then I started.
Everybody has voids.
I know, but you know what I'm saying? They didn't have what I had. Like I had my mom was married, right? I had a stepdad, but you know that's what that is. Like I was close when we were younger, but as we grew up, that stuff like that changed, you know what I'm saying, for the circumstances. And I always had my mom. I always had a strong mom. But they say that for women, even with men, like mom it's mom. Like you can survive. Anybody can survive without a dad, but not having a mom, I don't know. To me, it's different.
I don't know. Not in that way of like anybody can survive without a dad. I think you can survive. I think you can survive without any parent.
But that's not what I'm saying.
But
go ahead, because I wouldn't finish.
Okay, I got you. But I think that you can survive without. Honestly, you can survive without anybody.
Yes, you can.
But there's always a part of your life that you need each individual parent for.
Of course.
And there's some things that even a single mother can't do that a dad could do.
Right.
And, vice versa. But I didn't mean to cut you. But what were you saying?
No, I was saying that, of course, you can survive without anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, people use that to push them, you know what I'm saying, to become greater, or even have kids and be that what their parents couldn't be, for their kids. So I believe anybody can make it. But I'm saying for me specifically, like I had a stepdad. My mom is remarried again to my wonderful daddy Bobby. But prior to, like, me and my stepdad, we had a close relationship growing up when I was younger. But things changed, like, and I felt like, I don't know, like when that situation left, like I just, like, it was me and my mom. Like, I just felt like she was the one who instilled a lot in me spiritually and just as a woman. He didn't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was like I wasn't losing anything, something I never had. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, it was good for the season of my life as a child, but as I got older, I needed something else. I needed something more, and I couldn't get that. Okay. So that's what I was saying. Like, we know I need both of my parents. My real dad, he passed 3 years ago. Sorry to hear that. But I didn't have a relationship with him either because of mental health and stuff like that. I know you talked about that, but and because of his disease and stuff like that. So that's why, it was kind of like, well, I'm used to this. Like, my mama been here since day one. Right. So that's who I hold on to closely and most, besides my siblings. But I'm rambling now.
You keep saying that. You're just answering the question.
But I think you asked, like, in a sense, like, why did I stay?
Once you saw the red flag, why stay?
Yeah. So I felt like I said, like, they had voids. We all have voids. You know what I'm saying? And they try to make it. They used to, like, manipulate a lot. One particular person would be like, oh, well, I didn't have this, I didn't have that. So, and use that as an excuse to how they treat people. You know what I'm saying? Okay. And try to lure you back in and be like, well, it's because I didn't have this, that, and the third, and I experienced this, but you're not the only one experienced this.
But you know what's crazy? Them saying it's because means they're aware.
Right. Exactly. That's what's crazy. You're crazy. So, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like I used to get sucked in that and be like, okay, I feel bad now. Right. And now I just want to help this person. And that's been like that in certain situations, because a few other people that I dated, they weren't manipulators, but they had issues and things that just didn't align with me and my purpose and who I was. And I always have I carry something like this motherly thing. I'm gonna call it a thing. Or spirit. My mama called me mother hen. I'm a grandma. She called me everything. She called me mom number 2 in the family. And that's how I've always been with my siblings and everything. Like, I'm just a mother, I'm a nurturer and stuff like that. But at the same time, I had that in some of my relationships, not so motherly, but I always tried to fix it. Like, I wanted to fix whatever was going on, and that was the issue, because of who I was and the heart that I carried. So that's why sometimes it was hard for me to pick up and leave. Of course, it did more damage to me in the end, but you live and you learn, you move on. And when you start to open your eyes and realize your worth and realize who you are, things like that change, and you won't accept anything. You know what I'm saying? Right. So
what does, like, because even in the faith aspect, what does somebody having, when they say, well, what value do you add to my life or to this relationship, or what do you bring to the table? What does that look like for you? Like, for
me, bringing something to the table?
No.
Or for others? Like, for
what does that look like to you, for somebody to bring value or add value to your life, or bring something to the table?
You just have to, for me, have faith, because if you don't have any faith, I just think it's going to be a big clash, and eventually it just won't go anywhere, or just be like, I don't know, we'll just be wasting time. But just as far as faith, just being there with, not even on the same level, just having a faith to grow in faith and together, because I understand everybody's at different levels. We both have to have certain values and certain things that we want to accomplish in life. We have to build each other, bring each other up. Not saying that we need people to, you know, achieve certain things, but if we're going to be in a relationship or we're going to have a friendship, we should be building each other up, having a certain mindset. Like, I think mindset is very important. Like, just being optimistic, even like in the hard times. I know sometimes it could be hard for me because I'm like, oh, but at the end of the day, I still, in my mind, I be like, but God, you know what I'm saying? It's going to get done. Like, even if I'm in a drought, I feel like I'm in a drought, you still have, that's where faith comes in at. I felt like, just having goals. You have to have goals, you know what I'm saying? Like, of course, outside of, you know, finances and building and stuff like that, and building the empire, and, you know, what me, this is just me personally. When I'm in a relationship, I want to build an empire. Like, I want us to grow together financially, spiritually, physically, and just in all those different aspects. Like, I just feel like that's what you can bring to the table, like improvement for not just for you, but for myself, like helping me see a different side of myself. Like, yes, know who you are, know, you know, your worth, and know that, okay, I'm this girl and I'm this woman, but at the same time, I do want to have experienced something that I never experienced before, and you pull something out of me that, you know, nobody has before, you know what I'm saying? So just having that person to help, I don't know, just, I don't say build me up, because you can't build, like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's not build me up, but at the same time, like, it just got to be different. Like, it has to be different. And I haven't experienced that until now. So it's kind of like having somebody to push you to not give up on yourself, on your goals, your dreams. Like, I have all that stuff now. So now it's kind of like, okay, people let me slap. Or not even let me snap, because I was always been a go-getter and a hard worker, and, you know, if I wanted something, I'll go do it. But it's just like, when I have my moments where I'm going through it, I'll like have my moments. I'll sit in it, even though I have faith, I'll sit in it, I'll just be like, okay, but life still goes on and you still got to move. Right. And I feel like now, like, I have that to where it's like, okay, I understand you're going through this, but stuff still have to get done. You still have to move. You still have to do this, that, and the third. Not saying don't take a mental health day or, you know, take care of yourself. That's important, but don't sit in it too long. You know what I'm saying? So that's what somebody can add to me, just pushing me to be better, and, showing me new things, teaching me new things. Like, if I don't know nothing, or if not nothing, because I do know something, if I don't know a certain thing, or I'm not aware of something, you can bring it to my attention and you can teach me. Don't be the type of person to be like, oh, well, this, that, and the third, like, dang, you don't know that. So that's a red flag right there, because you're showing me like you're not willing to teach me, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know, like all those things and more, you know.
In that teaching aspect, do you feel like, based on like what you were saying, do you feel like you're able to do the same for them?
Yeah.
Or, meaning, I only say that because of like what you said, like, you know, the people you've been with, your words were they let you slack, but I know what you meant. But then finding somebody who pushes you, is that something, you know, you're able to do in return, or is that something you feel like it's like you're able to do eventually? You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that makes sense.
I feel like I am able to push someone. I feel like I've been in my way of pushing people, or being, I'm very supportive. I'm like a supportive person. Like, you tell me you want to do something, okay, look, what are we doing? You know what I'm saying? Showing up.
I could attest to that.
Doing things, showing up, doing things. Even if I have to help invest into certain things, like, that's my way of showing you, like, I got your support. I'm gonna every step of the way. Like, you can do 5 different things in a year. I'm gonna be on it with you, and that's my way of pushing to show you, like, you're capable of doing anything. You just do it, and I'm gonna show up. You know what I'm saying? And that's, I feel like I have that, and I add that, and people need that support, because in friendship, is in relationships. Yeah, it's a lot of relationships that have you know, that drive to push each other and support each other and help each other. But even in friendships, sometimes we lack that in friendships a lot. So being having a friendship and a relationship in one is kind of like, okay, well, I'm finna be there. Like, what do you mean? Like, that's how I am. That's how I push and support. Because if you have people around you that you gonna have people around you that they know you're great, but they're not gonna support everything you do. They ain't worried about everything you do. They just come like, oh, okay, that's good, but they're not showing up like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right, so, but how's your little business?
Exactly. How's your little business? Exactly. So I feel like I do add that, you know what I'm saying? And I also incorporate myself or include myself. So I feel like that's my way of adding things, because I am creative. I know I'm a creator and creative. I know that I'm a go-getter, and like I know when I'm in that mindset and I'm not go mode, like we can do a lot together. You know what I'm saying? So I would never let you get to your lowest point. So, because at the end of the day, I can pray. Like, honestly, I can pray. I can pray the walls off if I really need to. Like, if you're going through it and I need to encourage you or pick you up, I can be that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people cannot be that. A lot of people can't understand certain things that you go through. A lot of people can't be in the mud, which, like, they can't do that. So I feel like that big not arrow. I don't know what I want to call it. That
it was the error
all in one, like that itself just speaks a lot, because as much as people want somebody who can wine and dine them and pay for these Birkins, do just all, you know this, what those are nice. Those are nice. Do all these extravagant things for them. For me, it's deeper than that. Like I said, don't get me wrong, I love nice things. I love my hair, my makeup, I like to step out when I step out. But at the same time, like, that stuff don't mean nothing to me. Like, I just love the beauty of it all. But at the same time, I need my heart and my mind to be at peace. And this stuff washes away. That don't mean nothing to me. It's like, how do you make me feel inside? Or, you know, how do we help each other grow in love or just grow in faith together? So I feel like I bring that, and I can bring other things. We can do business. I just feel like I can bring a lot of certain things, you know, to the table. And if you're bringing that too, it's gonna meet. You know what I'm saying? It can't be like, okay, well, what can you bring today? I know what I'm capable of bringing to the table. I'm probably capable of bringing more, but we gotta be
right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because I've been in a relationship where I overdid it. Like, I did it so much that I burnt myself out. Like, I was anything like, oh no, I was to a point like I was being like assistant, like setting appointments, I know how to play my role. You know what I'm saying? I did all those things. So it's kind of like, now it's kind of like, okay, what can we both bring? You know what I'm saying? And not one person feeling like they bringing more. And I'm not talking about financially. I'm not talking about none of that stuff. I'm talking about emotionally. Like, financially, I don't give a fuck about that. Sorry. It's okay. Like, we know we could both pay bills together and all that other stuff. And I'm talking about emotionally support and just, you know, the other things that's important besides money. Right. But that's great too. We need to learn how to be able to get money together, be in one when it comes to finances and stuff like that. And yeah, I'm sorry, I'm rambling.
She has said that after every answer to every like question.
I'm just talking.
You're answering the question.
And I'm all over the place. If I'm all over the place, excuse me, because I be having 10 thoughts in my mind at one time that need to come out.
No, it's all good. I forgot what that question was specifically.
What do you feel like you could add to a person?
No, but what was the one before that?
About why I stayed.
Yeah, but then there was like one in the middle. It's okay.
Don't know.
I think pretty much everything you said though. I agree. I think a person, I asked you what it looked like for them to be able to bring to the table. Mm-hmm. Like, what does that look like? Somebody adding value to you or to your life and relationship. Yeah. And I think adding value, like even for myself, me personally, is like having vision. Mm-hmm. Because like you said, we can make money millions of ways in this world. So paying bills and stuff, that should be the basics. That should be like the start. But anything after that, I think is really having the ability to vision. Right. To, even if our vision, eventually having our visions align. Mm-hmm. But also like you said, bringing something to the table of, okay, you're pushing me to be better, or you're showing me another side of myself, or you're helping me embrace a part of myself that I may have allowed the light to dim, right, or whatever. But I think it's like it's having the ability to run through the storm versus just sit in it,
right.
And I think because, kind of like you said, I've allowed myself to sit in too many storms that, right, I don't want to get rained on anymore, right. And so if we can find a way to just, keep moving forward, if we could find a way to better ourselves, or I enjoy being uncomfortable, right, because I always know there's a bigger version of myself, or right, a better version of myself that's out there somewhere in this world, or that's within me actually, right, that I have not allowed to come out. And I always try to put myself in predicaments that force me to think differently, feel differently, and move differently. Mm-hmm. And not in the sense of it's changing me, but exposing me. Right. And having that understanding and the ability to, like you said, I like to turn up. I like to enjoy myself. I like to, right, I'm goofy. I love Disney. I love going to the amusement park. I love all these different things. But at the same time, when it's time to get business done, it's time to get business done. When, right, it's time to grind, I need to know that you can grind with me, and that we ain't going to be sitting here complaining and talking about, you know what I mean? Like people who complain too much, and right, people who are pessimistic. I don't see the point, right, in that, because at the end of the day, you're just going to continuously be where you are and you're never going to get out of that storm. And I remember hearing this audio in the business we did previously about, this guy sitting in a rainstorm with his dad, mm-hmm, and the dad, it was getting darker and it was getting heavier and they couldn't even see the road in front of them. And he was like, "Dad, why aren't you pulling over? Everybody else is pulling over. Turn on your lights." And Dad was like, "No. Just be patient." He was like, "No, but Dad, you can't even see the road." He's like, "Okay, but we just got to keep going. We got to keep going." And eventually, it was sun and a rainbow at the end of the storm. And he was like, "Well, why didn't you stop?" He said, "Because look back there. Everybody is still sitting in their storm." And it's like, if you just choose to keep going, no matter what it looks like, no matter how you feel, that to me is like, okay, you're willing to put up with anything to get what you want, right? You know what I mean? You're willing to go through whatever it takes. You're willing to be uncomfortable, and people, and I'm not saying being in spaces where you're disrespected or putting yourself in dangerous situations, mm-hmm, but uncomfortable situations. That's I think that's two different things. But I agree pretty much with a lot of the things you said. Having somebody to push you and like support and understanding you emotionally as well. So it's a plethora of things. And then it's kind of like, I think one thing for me is over time, I didn't care. But there's a lot of people out here who be cute, but they can't manage money. And then I'm like, that's kind of scary. Right. Because you walking around with them Balenciagas on and that Louis bag, but your bank account is on right, E. Right. I'm a little confused. The math ain't mathing. And right, so I think as I got older, I've realized how uneducated a lot of people are about mm-hmm, financial literacy and all that stuff. And that's for another conversation. But in general, like having the ability to know how to manage money or how to make it or right, what to do with it. It's having that. Even if you don't have the knowledge, being willing to get it or right, being willing to learn it and, move differently after knowing it. Right. Because what they say, you're not, if you don't know, you're not stupid, but if you know, you're stupid. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So right, it's like if you know and you still don't do it, okay, now you're being stupid. Right. But I think it's just crazy as we get older, our value, the things we look at as important in relationships just change completely. Yeah. And for me, the things I didn't even think would be important that are important to me now, didn't even cross my mind when I was like in high school or coming into college and all that stuff. And I was just like, who knows who I would have been with if I remained that person, right, or where I would be, or just the kind of circle I would have. You said what?
Have a cough.
Cough. That's okay.
Excuse me, guys.
She was about to choke on this It's okay. She was about to lose her life just holding a cough. That's not healthy. You would have lost your throat.
Blew it out.
No, but I just and in the end, I worry about the people who worry more about their looks than they do their mindset. Because you can have both.
Yeah.
Perfect example is my mother. You know, the older she get, the finer she look.
Right.
Personally, like she's aging like wine,
yes,
and but she's also showing me that she's continuously growing herself.
Right.
Even at her age, like she hasn't stopped finding or stopped looking for ways to improve and to grow and set up her family and just become the woman she knows who she is. Right. You know what I mean? And being fierce and walking in that fierceness and walking in that confidence and walking in that belief and knowing that you can't waver her faith at all. Right. Like she from the hood, but she don't let that define her. Right. But she can get ratchet real quick. You know what I mean? Like she is a woman I would want my children to be. Yes. You know, and I think being able to watch and learn from her is only but right. I pass it all down. Right. You know what I mean? And so, exactly. We may not do everything the same. Right. We're honestly only different in one way. Right. And that's just, I mean, you know, but she is, you know, I think she's also like, she set the standard of what I look for, you know, in relationships and stuff too. So, it's, I feel bad for people who are out there looking because it's not much, but when you find one, no, seriously, when you find one, or if you find somebody who's willing to become their greater version of themselves, I think if all you have is love and patience and just support and all that, you'll be fine. Right. I think that's also another issue with a lot of people. They don't have the patience to grow through a relationship. They just want that person to be perfect right now. Right. Because we all started somewhere. But also, you may come into a relationship and be at two different places in your life. Exactly. So, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. What are your final thoughts on just the post itself or anything we said?
I don't know. Like you said, if you find that person, I'll say, just make sure you're good before you just date. You know what I'm saying? Like, just make sure your mindset is there. Know what you can bring to the table. Know what you can add. Don't settle. If you are in a relationship where overall, like, your core values and, you know, what y'all stand for and what y'all trying to build, what y'all trying to work on, and it's overall a good relationship, just continue to work at it. Like, don't, just because y'all may not be where y'all want to be at that moment, or like Z said, like y'all probably were on two different levels, or, you know, things change, like, because you could be up here and then the next person down here, and you could be down here the next. But if y'all willing to grow together and y'all willing to help build each other up and just help push each other to be uncomfortable and not remain comfortable, I think that's beautiful in itself. Now, of course, if it's a situation where nothing is changing and it's just remaining the same, like in every aspect, and there's no growth, then you need to reevaluate the whole thing. Like, okay, what's going on? What's happening? Like, why is this not working? Not only for me, but for that person. And just be like, okay, well, we need to either revisit this or snip it. So when you have that awareness in your relationship, just make sure you have it. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes you can just be in situations you don't need to be in, or just, you know, need to be aware of what's going on in a relationship, pinpoint it and fix it. So, yeah.
I agree with mainly the don't settle and don't remain comfortable. Your comfort zone, that is your broke zone. And that's not just talking business, but that's talking in life. And understanding that where you are right now is not, it may be a good place and it may be a bad place, but it's not where you're meant to be. Right. So there's always something better. There's always more to life, but you got to keep going at it. Right. And relationships are hard. They're hard as fuck. I'm sorry, but it's they are hard, but they are, if it's the right one, it'll help you change in ways you didn't know you needed to.
Right.
And so that whether that's a friendship, a family, or actual relationship, like it's, but this was good. I appreciate you.
It was.
And,
I love having these conversations.
Yeah, me too. It's I think people just need to be willing to have those uncomfortable conversations. And this isn't even that uncomfortable, but there's things in there that people wouldn't even want to discuss, or you know. And there's so much more, y'all. So stay tuned for more episodes to come. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate you, Sierra, for giving us your time. And y'all, you may be cute, but do you pray? Or you may be cute, but what can you do? And so understand that just work on yourself. Put yourself first, and when you work on yourself, you'll find the right one, because you will attract the right person. So
facts. No printer.
Culture. All right, I'm done. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all again for tuning in. See y'all on the next episode. Y'all be breezy.